My boss kept threatening to fire me, so I got him fired instead. Every week for 8 months, my manager Derek would corner me in his office. Your performance is slipping, Jake. One more mistake and you're gone. Thing is, my performance wasn't slipping at all. I was hitting all my targets. Clients loved working with me, and I'd never missed a deadline. Derek just enjoyed the power trip. He'd threatened to fire me over the smallest things. 2 minutes late from lunch. Firing threat. Forgot to CC him on one email. Firing threat. Used the wrong font in a presentation. You guessed it. Another threat. Then he'd sit back in his leather chair with this smug look, watching me panic and scramble to apologize. He knew I had 2 kids and a mortgage payment. Knew I couldn't afford to lose this job, especially in this economy. The threats got worse after I got that client compliment letter. Sarah from Morrison Industries had written to our CEO praising my work on their account. Instead of congratulating me, Derek called me into his office the next day. Don't let one letter go to your head, he said, tapping his pen against his desk. You're still on thin ice here. I'm watching you very closely. That's when I started paying closer attention to Derek. I noticed he'd leave early every Friday, but mark himself present until 5. I saw him charging personal lunches to the company card. During monthly reconciliation, I spotted charges that didn't make sense. A $200 dinner at a steakhouse on a day we had no client meetings. Hotel charges in Vegas during a week. Derek claimed to be visiting our Seattle office. I started keeping track. Screenshots of his fake timesheets, photos of receipts he'd submit for reimbursement, credit card statements showing personal purchases billed to marketing expenses, 3 months of documentation. Last month, Derek called me in again after I'd sent him a report 10 minutes past deadline because the printer jammed. That client complaint yesterday was the final straw, Jake. Clean out your desk. You're done. Except there was no client complaint. I called Morrison Industries that morning. Sarah said they were thrilled with our progress and had no complaints whatsoever. Derek was lying, just looking for an excuse. Instead of cleaning out my desk, I walked straight to HR with a manila folder full of evidence. Derek's assistant Monica was there dropping off some paperwork. She overheard everything. I was wondering when someone would finally report him, she whispered. He's been doing this stuff for years. I showed HR the recordings I'd been making of our meetings on my phone. Derek threatening my job, making up performance issues, lying about client feedback. Then I pulled out the financial records. $12,000 in fraudulent expenses over 6 months. HR Director Patricia went white as she scrolled through the evidence. We'll need to investigate this immediately, she said. Please don't mention this conversation to anyone. 2 hours later, Derek was escorted out by security. Monica texted me that he tried arguing with them in the lobby, claiming I was a disgruntled employee making false accusations. But the credit card statements don't lie. Derek's boss, Regional Director Mike Thompson, called me that afternoon. Jake, we're promoting you to Derek's position, effective immediately. Your attention to detail and integrity is exactly what this department needs. Also, we're giving you a 20% raise in Derek's corner office. I was still processing everything when Derek texted me from the parking lot. You backstabbing piece of garbage. You can't do this to me. I have a family to support. This will ruin my career. I stared at his message for a long moment, thinking about all those times he'd threatened my livelihood while I worried about feeding my kids. I replied, you should have thought about that before threatening mine every week for 8 months. Started my new job Monday morning with Derek's office, Derek's salary, Derek's company car, and Derek's assistant Monica, who brought me coffee and said thank you for finally standing up to him. Half the department was looking for new jobs because of his behavior. Found out later that Derek had been reported twice before, but previous complaints were dismissed because people were too scared to provide solid evidence. Patricia told me my documentation was the most thorough case she'd ever seen. Derek tried calling the CEO directly to get his job back, but the financial fraud was already being reviewed by the company's legal team. Last I heard, they were considering pressing charges. Funny how threatening someone's livelihood can cost you everything: your job, your reputation, and your future. Sometimes the best defense is just keeping really good records.